Welcome back to our program, Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where we seek to educate and inspire the community around quality lifestyle and healthy living. And today we have Con Nichols, property advisor and wellbeing advocate. And it's the second in a series with Con about improving your environment to meet your lifestyle. So today is talking about maintenance. And over to you, Con.
Thank you once again for the opportunity. Great question, Linda. Look, I mean, as we all know, as we said the other procedures before, you know, there's mum and dad now, the kids have gone, the grandparents already passed on, and, you know, at the age of, you know, like late 50s, early 60s, it's, what we found out that, for example, when it comes to the maintenance topic, is that a lot of people trying to do their own maintenance. And it's very risky and costly because it can be very, very dangerous. Now, imagine now, someone middle-aged man or late middle-aged man is trying to get a ladder to go on top of their roof, to clean up the guttering, and next thing you know, it's down the floor. Once again, this is only one little aspect of maintenance that you can save money from, because if you downgrade or downsize the property, you don't have as much maintenance to worry about. Another one very important, of course, is when you're a big house, you've got 8, 10, 12 outlets of either ducted heating or air conditioning, which have got to be serviced and maintenance. Now, all those little things add up to the end cost, where if you've got a smaller property, you don't have as much outlay on maintenance. And another very important one is, for example, like, in a bigger house, you've got established gardens, and of course, they've got to be maintained, you've got to do little lawns and weeding and so on. Otherwise, they get out of control and it costs you more money to bring it back in control. So when you've got a smaller property, those costs are very much lower than the initial ones.
Mm. Yeah, so it has all of these contingencies, like benefits from changing the size of your house. Is that correct?
Definitely. I mean, look, very simple things. I mean, I know you've got now a house that's got 5 bedrooms, your 2 living areas, your kitchens and so on, your bachelor's kitchen, and now even your utilities, even your power you're saving. Because at the end of the day, on a smaller property, you don't have as many outlets with powers and so on. That's also another cost to the person out there that is actually trying to save the money, but also saving the money to do something else with their own future as well. Remember, now that you've got the extra cash, you can utilize it to do something else. So every little penny, as we call it, it goes to kitty, which makes you better off later on.
And what I'm thinking too for our viewers, there'd be many people thinking that they've got big outside areas to maintain, all the mowing, and they might want to spend a bit more time doing things that they love to do. Have you found that arising with people?
Definitely, a lot of times that, don't forget, the older we become, the less mobile we are. And don't forget, in this age, time is very valuable. We can't have the time that we used to have 20, 30 years ago. And that's a very big issue these days, because you need to do the things that you want to do with your partner. But another one actually that I found lately that it's probably another big problem as well that a lot of people that they're facing is decluttering. How many times we go to rooms of houses that you've got so many boxes and things and so on that you can hardly use that particular room. It's a waste of space. And at the end of the day, by downgrading, it gets you to declare the room, to sell the things you don't need, or give them away, depends what you want to do. But at the same token, you get back control of that particular room. However, if you're in downsizing, you don't have to worry about the room anyway, you don't need it. And another one is my favorite. And I know people say, look, when you got a bigger house, you got bigger parties, and you bring your children, it's great. But at the same token also, when you got a smaller property as well, it's easy to control. It's easy to maintain. And in a sense, it's got more sense of the homely look as well. It feels more warmth. And you know what? And also, those big parties at Easter's and Christmas, you don't have to worry. you go to their houses, not to your house.
And I suppose there's cleaning to take into consideration
Definitely.
as well.
Look, especially these days here, to get a proper cleaner to do your house, knowing from my own personal experience, you're looking about $220, $240 a week to clean your house. That's money that you don't have to use, because you know, a smaller property, you don't need to outlay as much money as well. So to me, the key points are the smaller it is. Well, let's rephrase it. The smaller is the new big, if it makes any sense. So, you know, you go into a smaller place because you're more comfortable, you maintain it, you control it, and you live the property. Where in the bigger house, especially double-story houses, you don't even know what's upstairs the last few months since your children got married. So let's be realistic. Utilize the money, utilize your time and space for your own will and your own benefits, and enjoy it. Life's too short to worry about those things.
And Con, what about then the health side of things? What about dust and mould?
Great question. The health is one of the biggest issues, and actually it's very, very risky, because how many people do we know they've got a mouldy bathroom, and next thing you knew, they get an asthma attack, or they get all these infections, and they get sick. But the same token also, for example, a few weeks ago, we had this massive storm in Melbourne, and everything was all red from the dust and the rain and so on. Now, all the dust gets sucked in by your air conditioners and your vaporous systems and so on. Once again, you've got to clean those things. You've got to maintain them. The bigger they are, the more costly they are. And the same token also, when we said before regarding cleaning your house internally, they cost a lot of money.
So Con, what would be your top tip then from, about in that regard about maintenance?
Great question, Linda. I tell you what, the most important tip is find a property that suits your needs. Find a property that can actually maintain your lifestyle and enjoy it as well. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a house or it can be a unit, it can be an apartment. At the end of the day, it's got to fit on your criteria.
Wonderful. Thank you, Con. Thank you. And for more information on Con Nichols, on changing your environment to meet your lifestyle, then please go to his webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now we'll go to break, and after the break we'll be back with Mark Carazzo. Welcome back, and next we have Mark Carazzo, our business consultant and coach, and as part of the Positive Psychology series, he's talking to us today about the importance of meaning. Welcome, Mark.
Welcome, Linda.
Yeah. So what does this mean? What do you mean by the meaning of life?
Well, by the meaning of life, I'm not talking about the deeply philosophical question of what is the meaning of our lives. I'm talking about something larger in our lives than ourselves, which gives us purpose and motivation. It's a very important concept. It's been proven to be so, and it's unique to every individual. So it's the thing that drives us every day, Linda.
And why is finding meaning so important?
Well, it gives us our drive and motivation in life. It's a set of goals for us, something that we can measure our life by every now and then. And of course, when we achieve certain steps on the road to our goal, we feel a sense of accomplishment. Now, so far as the research suggests, if we've got people that are in the later stages of their life, we find that they're more likely to live longer if they've got a sense of meaning and purpose. And we also know that people that have meaning and purpose in life are generally happier, have better well-being, better physical and mental health, and are less likely to suffer from depression. So meaning is really one of the very most important pillars in the positive psychology area. And one particular person whose work in this area I respect is an Australian psychiatrist and neurologist called Viktor Frankl. He's also a Holocaust survivor, and he believes a firm sense of meaning is absolutely essential to human flourishing, and he used meaning in order to motivate people around him going through the very distressing circumstances that are really hard to imagine for anybody. through the Holocaust, he motivated people to want to live on by reminding them or pointing to their purpose and meaning in life. So he's very, very well equipped to talk about the importance of meaning, Linda.
And so would that change through our lives?
Yeah, I think the meaning of our life or our purpose changes throughout the course of our lives. I know for many people, having children is a classic example of where their focus and attention might change. There'll be other people out there whose purpose of life might be to assist with the environment or to leave the world in a better place. Other people find meaning from religions and formal faiths and observances like that. But yes, it does change through the course of our lives.
And if you don't find meaning during your life, what can you do about it?
It's a hard question. I think some of us forget to really contemplate what the meaning or purpose of our lives would be. So the first thing I'd say is to do that. If you're not getting anywhere with that, I'd go back to the other basic important pillars leading to well-being, which are connection and relationships. I'd focus on them. I'd focus on acts of kindness, maybe volunteering, some sort of social benefit from what you're doing with your life. So engagement in activities is also very important. Find something that you enjoy doing and get yourself immersed in that. And I tend to suspect that eventually meaning or purpose will reveal itself whilst you're doing those processes, Linda.
And what about during your work or other routine things? How would you find meaning during those times?
It's really important that we find meaning in what we do. In fact, the evidence out there suggests that people that can find some sort of social benefit in what they're doing or something within their work that they care for perform a lot better. So I think we need to look at our work and look at what the ultimate outcome is of what we do to find where we find some relevance to it. People like that who see their work as a calling perform better, enjoy their work more, and obviously enhance their whole life. So yes, we can get meaning out of work and we should. And it's also worth considering what we get out of the mundane tasks we do at home. We might view something as simple as washing the dishes or vacuuming as fairly unimportant work. But if we look at it in the context of what it's doing to ensure a happy household, then we're obviously going to feel more satisfied while we do it and perform it better when we do it. And there is a bit of research done on hospital cleaners. The first group of hospital cleaners saw their work as lowly skilled and unimportant. The second group, the ones that performed better, saw their work as something that bettered the lives of patients and medical staff. So it's sometimes changing the way you see things, and the things you see will change. So that's very important in finding meaning.
And how would finding meaning help in relationships in your life?
Well, I think when you're doing something that you enjoy doing, you're going to obviously put a lot of energy into it. You're going to find people of the same interests of you. So you've got that bond before it starts. So finding meaning in what you want to do and getting involved in activities that involve other people is going to impliedly enhance a lot of your relationships and connectedness, Linda.
And would there be any more tips that you could give our viewers?
No, just that. I think start with the basics of what we believe is important for well-being. Look to relationships, look to engagement, look to kindness and care, and also try to look at what you're doing and work through the processes until you find some meaning in it for others, and that will give you the start of a sense of purpose.
You'll be back next week to talk to us more about relationships. So for more about Mark Corazzo and the meaning of life, then please go to our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. Welcome back, and next we have Helen Mack back with us for the third in her series about optimising outcomes, and today it's about maintaining momentum. So over to you really, Helen. How do we maintain momentum?
Isn't it hard? Sometimes we get things going, we just get started and then something gets in our way and we grind to a halt. Or it just feels so hard that we never even get going in the first place. So maximising momentum is about taking advantage of the little improvements, of the little successes that we have along the way. So the idea here is one of the important elements is celebrating success, even tiny wee ones. Often we wait to celebrate until a big thing has happened, until we've achieved something wonderful and marvellous, and it just gets so hard to keep going because the good goals, the big goals that we achieve during our lives, whether that be a community goal, a family goal, a health goal, a wealth goal, whatever, they're not going to happen overnight. The big ones take time and effort. If we don't take time out along the way to go, yay, I made a tiny step forward. Yay, I made that adjustment. If we don't celebrate along the way, then it can very much feel like a grind. So maximising momentum is partially about celebrating the baby steps along the way and not waiting until the end for the big party. As you and I know, sometimes goals change. If you wait till the end, you might not get to the end that you thought it was going to be. You might have had a detour and end up in a completely different outcome in terms of what you want to be able to celebrate. So as a very small example, I got married in isolation. So we had all kinds of plans for this fabulous wedding ceremony that we were going to have, and it ended up being me and my beautiful new husband and 8 friends in a library at his farm. It was wonderful. But if we had only chosen to celebrate the big event, then we wouldn't have been celebrating the little wins along the way, the little pieces of the puzzle that fell in. The fact that my dress arrived 48 hours before the wedding, that was a celebration. So all of those little pieces kept us going at a time when sometimes it felt really, really hard. We need to make sure that we're recognising our efforts and the efforts of others in our team, our crew, our family, our group. Recognising other people's efforts can also help our momentum build and grow.
It can even be, because I was just tuned into that, I kind of heard a lot of this stuff, and then I thought, what really clicked with me was something like, and I'm sure you use this, is like giving yourself a treat when you get to a certain stage, or really celebrating it in a way that is important for you.
And what you've said there is perfect. What's important to you. So what you might use to celebrate and what someone else might use to celebrate can be 2 completely different things. And I think we also have an unfortunate habit of deciding that we're going to celebrate with big stuff. So as an example, I'm a reader, I love reading, and so a treat could be just spending an hour with a book, curled up in a corner, or it could be going and buying a book, whether that be online or wandering to a bookshop. One of my very good friends and business partners, what he does is when he's achieved a small goal that he wants to celebrate, he takes himself off to the movies. He has 3 young children. He goes to the movies to watch a U-Butte, boys kind of adventure flick, no children, popcorn, relax, do nothing for a couple of hours, and then comes out refreshed and ready to take the next step. So there's no rules about what the celebration has to be.
No, that's wonderful. It just is what boosts your optimism, isn't
Correct.
it?
What makes you feel good, yeah.
Great. How we can maintain an optimistic attitude, especially, there's always changes happening in life. We always have the things evolving, as you've been sharing in previous segments. And how can we maintain that?
So when we're looking at maintaining momentum, the optimistic attitude is clearly part of it. We need to be able to roll with the punches. We need to deal with the ups and downs. I think if life was just flat and everything was the same all the time, it would be quite boring. But we do have to deal with peaks and troughs. We have to deal with detours and obstacles. And to maintain momentum, we have to do 2 things simultaneously. We have to keep our eye on the prize. So we have to keep one eye, if you like, on the ultimate goal, and keep checking that we're still on path for that, or has the detour taken us somewhere we like? And then the second piece is that we need to keep an eye on the road ahead of us. Is there a dirty great big hole? Do we need to detour? Are there things that we need to adjust so that we don't have too many troughs? Because sometimes the troughs that we fall in are of our own making. Sometimes we need to make sure that we don't fall into those troughs. But if we do, that's okay. We're allowed to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and take the next step.
Such a thing as too much of a good thing, too much momentum about moving going forward?
Yeah, I think sometimes if we're changing too fast or taking on too many new things, our system goes into shock. And so too much momentum, too much change can be exhausting. So it's great to really get yourself going, but make sure that you're monitoring your energy levels. Make sure that you are filling yourself up both with food and water, like the general, nutrition type things, but also with hanging out with good people, putting in some positive or affirming information into your head, making sure that you're not spending time with people who are naysayers about your goal. So too much momentum can be exhausting, and if we get too fast, we sometimes just need to go, okay, I just need a time out. Sometimes too much momentum will take us past the point where we should have made an adjustment, and when we end up at the other end of the road, we'll go, this isn't quite where I want it to be.
And easy to go off course then, I suppose, and go off on the path and suddenly realise that that's not really a good feeling for me.
That's right. If we go back to our questions from last time, just checking in with the why. Why was I doing this in the first place is a good way to check. And from years ago, I remember going to a training around goal setting in the business, in the corporate kind of sense, and they said, it's all very good to be climbing the ladder, but every now and then you have to make sure that it's leaning up against the right wall.
Thank you, Helen. And we'll finish the show now on that. And for more information on Helen Mack and optimising outcomes and maintaining your momentum, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And we'll be back with Helen next time talking about how to maintain an optimistic mindset.